Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the podcast. Today we have a treat for the first time ever. I am blessed to have a rocker here with me today. Not a rocker, a rock star. James, please introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm James Buckman, frontman of the legendary glam rock band Hot Apollo, sparkliest rock and roll in the galaxy.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Tell me about your band. Tell me about your band, please.
So it's like as long as I can remember, I've just loved just like getting up and singing, and also being the center of attention. Fortunately, like singing, like voice skill, did not come as naturally to me as writing songs when I was a kid. So I just like sing constantly, and my friends would be like, please shut up," and they got to an age where they were starting bands. They were like, I had some friends who were like amazing guitarists, and stuff, and so they wanted to start bands, and they loved like the lyrics I was writing. But they're like, please do not sing these. Just you have a drum kit at your house, you can keep a beat. So why don't you do that and write the lyrics, and we'll get someone else to sing. uh, you know, those bands kind of didn't go anywhere because as good as they were at playing music, they didn't want to actually be like professional musicians, and that's fine.
God.
Everyone's got to find their path. And so eventually, I thought, okay, I need to start my own band with people who are serious. And since no one was around to tell me how to sing, I'm just like, I'm going to sing. And
Let
just
it do it.
and just like stubbornness and repetition and practice, I got better, and now I have like an awesome rock and roll voice, and with awesome rock and roll musicians in my band. So yeah, it all kind of worked out.
Yeah, you're truly an artist, though. So I was looking over your stuff, right? I love music. I'm like addicted to music. Everything I do needs to be with music in the background. So I really, really like music. My genre is more hip hop, but that's because of where I came from. But I love going to like a rock bar and jamming out because I love it. So why where do you think you got this artistic form from? Because I'm looking at your website, right? You're very artistic, very, very, very different from what you see everywhere. So tell me about that.
It's funny. I kind of think the like I guess artistic form, as you put it, like the kind of like persona and everything, all that kind of felt like something I was born with. And
Nice.
like I was always like a total weirdo, and I just think I was also very lucky to have a bit of artistic talent to go along with that, because otherwise I'd just be a weirdo. And like even people who like don't get my weirdness, and people who are like just like living their like normal lives, and like that's fine, and like being that, even they pass me on the street and be like, what is going on there? But then they see me on stage and they're like, oh, that makes sense.
Got
So I'm
it.
glad that like I kind of have a vocation that kind of aligns with the way I am.
Got it. So this is you. This is just who you are. This is how you see the world. It's amazing. Has it been difficult to be an artist as far as how you just said weirdo? That's how people see people that think differently, right? I don't see you as a weirdo, but I know the feeling you're talking about. So my question is, has that ever bothered you, stopped you, or
So I use weird mostly in a positive sense. That's
oh,
like
I like that. Wait,
yeah,
wait, wait.
yeah.
Explain that. Explain that. Explain that.
I'll tell you how I got there. So I remember being there's something about the transition from second grade to third grade where I suddenly like got like a burst of like self awareness, and like how people saw me and the things people said to me kind of like started like get in. I guess that's like probably normal for people around that age. You're kind of start to get like a little less stuff involved, a little more like aware of the
Got it.
people and like things around you. And all these like kids in my class, I went to an all boys school for a lot of my life, and that kind of um, maybe heightened the ways in which people's kind of attitudes towards my lack of, or kind of, there's a lot of talk when I got to that new school about how like I wasn't like traditionally masculine in the way like
Got it.
like
Yep.
third
Yep.
grade classmates were, and that like in a lot of other things. I'm also autistic, so that probably played a role. Everything played a role. It's hard for anyone when you're like 8 years old and like trying to like figure out how to get along with people around you. And there was a lot of like friction early on in trying to get around people around me, and who noticed how different I was from them. And for a little while that bothered me, and then fairly quickly I realized, no, the weirdness is my power, and I've got to own that and use that to the best of my ability, and see where that takes me in life. Because if I kind of accept it as part of myself, I can do a lot with that. I think like the in so many cases, what can hold people back is not kind of accepting their full selves, and they're trying to and they try to be something they're not, and that's
Yes.
such a hindrance and such a handicap, you know.
Love it, yo. You are right. You're like spot on. I mean, once you find out who you are and you like accept it and use it, the world like opens up for you, man.
Yeah,
So let me ask you this: Did you said you did you? I think I heard you say autistic. Did you hear
yeah,
that?
yeah,
So you're autistic? That like you were diagnosed?
yeah. It's funny, like that was so my father was also like very autistic. He was a doctor though. He like kind of he manifested in some similar ways to me in some different ways. So, but he also had like a very strong artistic streak too. But because of that, like my mom and him had been married for like several years before they had me, and so like my mother was like very familiar about like how they can present. And like as soon as they started talking, when I was like 3 years old, she's like, okay, yeah, no, you've got this
Yes,
too.
you knew.
Yeah, she picked on early.
I think that is amazing, man, because you're showing, right? You're showing in a world, right? Like we're starting to realize this is more common than not. A lot of people do have autism. I met most of the criterias for it, and I have ADHD. So, but I learned it as an adult. I just learned it not too long ago because I was always different. I could never talk to people the right way, and I went and got diagnosed. I went and got checked.
Okay, as soon as it's funny because as soon as you said like you listen to music in the background for everything, like I thought that did occur to me
Yeah,
because
yeah,
like
that's
I'm also like
needed.
that. I need like constant like some sort of like sense stimulation to like kind of focus on whatever I'm doing. So I feel that.
Yeah, and for me to walk anywhere or go anywhere to feel, no, I don't want to say normal. I hate that word, but to feel like everyone looks, I need to have music, or else I want to go into a corner and just hide. I don't want to be touched. But it's something I figured out that helped me. So yeah, music, yeah, music. So music, obviously, music is big for you too. So it's a big thing. So wow, so that must have been hard going to an all boys school. And that's what you were trying to say. It was hard going to an all boys school, trying to fit what everybody looks like. What would you tell somebody who is like you, special and loves themselves and self aware and wants to be themselves? A small child, but going through that, what should they do?
So it is. I think like the first step is always got to be like self acceptance and like noticing what's unique about you and kind of like owning that and like honing that too. And it's hard for anyone, even adults. And when you're 8, it can be like a very turbulent journey. But like if you can do that, and then the next step is kind of like reaching out to the people around you who are different from you and being like, okay, you and I are very different, but also that's okay. And like, let's kind of like, enjoy your differences and also kind of like focus on what we have in common and like go from there. And I think it is so cool that like, I don't want everyone in the world to be like me. I think
At
it is
all?
cool that there's so many different types of people in the
Yeah,
world.
big time.
Like, okay, I had this one friend who'd always be like, everyone dresses so boring. Why can't everyone in the world dress like you? And I'm like, well, I mean, because then everyone like would just be one type of person. I think it's cool that people have their different tastes and like go for it. And that is like one of my favorite things. And I think it's becoming so much more accepted now. Like the death of the mainstream. Like 100 years ago, we had like 3 TV channels. So for instance,
Yeah,
you
that's
could only listen to what's on the radio. Now everyone has like a Spotify playlist they can curate for themselves or whatever. Like everyone is free to like seek out what appeals to them instead of just having to accept whatever's like thrown at them by like
no, by
five
some
media
corporate
corporations.
heads. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No, you're right. Are you how? If you don't mind me, I don't know, and I could cut it out. How old are you? Are you
I just turned
you?
35 yesterday.
But you look young as F, bro.
I mean, I
Good
keep
job.
forgetting. And then like my mom and aunt are like, "Hey, happy 35th birthday!" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that."
Yeah, you stopped counting after a while. I stopped
I
counting
stopped
after
counting
like
after
20.
10. I remember like having when I turned 10, it was like kind of a big birthday. Oh, 2 digits, cool. And just circumstances kind of made it a really unideal night for me. And I just thought, you know what? Who cares about calendars? I'm just going to celebrate every day because I'm going to celebrate myself every day. And so after that, I was like, yeah, who cares about
It
birthdays?
worked for you.
Yeah.
You look
Now, if
young. It
someone else
worked for
wants
you.
to celebrate their birthday, I am going to cheer them on. I have one of my best friends is celebrating his birthday tonight. So after that, we're going to go do some karaoke together, have a great time, and I'm going to be giving him
Uh-huh.
all the birthday wishes. But just that for me, it's not important.
Yeah, for you. Why?
Yeah.
It just works for you. Where
Yeah.
does your music come from? I mean, like, where do you get that inspiration? Because that's hard to get inspiration for such new things.
So for me, I actually got into music through poetry. The first thing I was like, as I said, I've always liked singing, but the first like art form I was good at was writing. At some point, I realized that like poetry and songwriting were like the specific like medium for me. And I just kind of like wrote like what's in my soul and what's in my mind. It's a lot of like common themes for me are like fantasy, mythology, romance, and just dreams and like my like vision of the world, like the way I see the world. And so I just kind of like, for me, art is like taking what's in my soul and just like blowing it up into like the most glorious, like magnificent manifestation of that.
I love it. I love what you just said. Seriously. And how does it feel now that you see it? And like you said, with the downing of the mainstream, now everyone can put their art form out there. How does it feel that you can see it? Like you can actually see your art on video. On I was watching your videos on a website. How does that feel as an
It's
artist?
so good. I mean, honestly, like the first thing I do when my band puts like a new song or album out is like download it for myself, and I'm just like listening to it all the time. Even like, and before we do that, I'm just like I'm listening to our demos all the time. Like I really like sincerely like love our music, and it's so great to be able to like hear it the way it is in my mind. You know, like in like full produced form. And I do consider myself like so lucky to be like to have been born in a time where that's possible, because like
Yeah.
like 50 years ago even, like you had to like be so lucky to get someone who would like kind of like pay for you to get some like
Yep.
decent studio time, and then like maybe you get it on vinyl, and like how you gonna listen to that all the time, and now everyone can just like put whatever they want out there, and it's like it still like costs money, and it still costs a lot of time and effort and everything, but it's still easier than it's ever been, and it does come with drawbacks, because it means like it's so hard to like rise above like the noise with what you have. There's like so much. There are like millions of songs being put on the internet every day, and as good as I am in like the whole band, as like confident as we are in our artistic abilities, kind of figuring out the kind of like business sense and how to like work like social media algorithms and stuff, that stuff does not come naturally to us. So that's where we're struggling. And I think a lot of artists are. It's like, it's not just musicians, but like I hear like book authors talk about how like they signed up to be writers. They didn't sign up to be like social media.
Yeah. You
And it's like,
gotta do it
it's such
all. Yeah,
a,
yeah, yeah.
unless you have like someone on your team, it's so tough to figure out. But like, it's worth it. Like it's, to do this, do music. It's I'll do anything for it, even the stuff that's not as fun for me. I don't love like having like post like all the time on socials, and like, oh, like which hashtags do I use? But it's like,
Yeah, you gotta think
it's,
about it and like
yeah, every job has stuff in it you don't love, and eventually, if you rise high enough, you'll get people to take care of that. So that's my hope. I hope to like just like go far enough so that other people like come on the team, like, yeah, we want to work with you. We'll do all the like boring stuff for you.
man, that sounds like a purpose. To be honest with you, like
Yeah,
like you're willing to fight for it, even do the things you don't want, even go through the ugly things, as long as you get to do your music. So
yeah.
to me, that's what purpose is to me, right? And so why are you so? Why do you feel? I know you love the music, but why do you feel so strongly about making an impact with your art?
That it feels like the most like honest way for me to communicate what's on my mind. To me, like there's so many art forms I like. I mean, I dabble in acting and modeling too, and when those opportunities come my way, I give it my all. But just like with music, it just feels like the sort of purest representation of my
Mm,
thoughts and feelings and what I want to say to the world and what I want to show the world. Because I do like, I mean, this is stuff I've had since I was a kid. It's just like, and I think everyone has this to some extent, or maybe they grow out of it. I don't know. But it's like, I feel as though, if you can just give like some people like a bit of a different perspective, then it can like open their minds so much, and then they can like kind of learn to like get along better in the world. And like that you like do that often enough, you promote that often enough, you propagate that like enough, and like so many more people in the world kind of learn that, and that kind of improves everything. That's how society progresses. Like new
did
ideas
you
that kind of germinate out.
Did you just hear what you just said? That was pretty freaking cool. What? I didn't even. Yes, like by opening people's mind, and I think it's working. People, I don't know. I don't have a lot of contact with people that way, but what I see is people's minds are opening and they're accepting new things, and it's a rough time too. But I guess that comes when there's change. We're all changing a bit. Do you think you had anything to do with that, with having people open up their minds?
I mean, I'm working. I mean, okay, I can only. As I said, I'm not like my reach as an artist is not like as huge right now as maybe eventually will be. But I do still try to like help out, where I can. The whole like think globally, like act locally thing. And I do like. I mean, I do have like people I've known, like acquaintances and friends who've come up to me, and they've been like, just because the way like you live your life and the person you are, and like you're not afraid to like show that all the time. It's inspired me to like do a little bit of that and be more honest with myself. And I think yeah, just like kind of like living my truth is like kind of a little bit of a beacon, help other people like live their truth, and that's kind of part of like what I feel I've been like put on this world to do. And I you know, as and it's valuable to do it, you know, on an individual level. And I do hope that like through my music and my art, and like when I get a bigger platform, I can help to do that on a more like macro scale.
Got it. But listen, I mean, what you explained is something that Mr. Spears talked about, right? He says that as one person, I cannot change the world, but I could change the world for one person. So by you saying your family coming up to you, you know, it's all it takes is one person, and that change just keeps on going. So that's pretty powerful. That you know where you are, you know what you're doing, and you know where you want to be. So where do you see? I know we want audiences, big audiences, but where do you see your music in the future? Like, do you have any sense of what it would look like, or the impacts that it'll make?
I don't know. I'm not like
Yeah.
I've never been someone who has like the most like kind of concrete visions of like my own visions of my own personal future. I just kind of like try to focus on like pushing as hard as I can in the moment, and the next moment, and the moment after that, and
In the
you know,
moment. I
bit by
love
bit
it.
it builds.
I love it. Is the music, is it hard? Is what you're doing, is it like a hard industry to be in, as far as time and stuff?
Well, okay, a few years ago I thought every art industry is hard to be in. You know, like music is even the worst of it right now. I mean, like trying to be like I think a writer is even okay. As I said, I started in poetry, and I do remember there was a point at which I thought, okay, should I focus on like getting my poetry published, or should I focus on like getting my music out there? Like, which should I dedicate more of my attention and time to? And I realized, okay, while it is like statistically unlikely, it is still possible for the very lucky musicians to make, you know, a huge amount of money, and like be and like, you know, be like pretty well off just doing their music. And then I thought, like, to be that equivalent, to have that equivalent of luck in poetry, like the like top like 0.1% like most fortunate and successful financially poets in the world, those people still need second jobs if you're just like, you know, writing a book of
Oh,
poetry,
yeah.
you know what I mean? And like other like, you know, and so yeah, I'd say like music, people still like, you know, love music, and it's, you know, things like, as I talked about Spotify earlier, but their business practices are the best, and they don't give a lot to musicians, so it's hard for everyone. I do honestly, I think like musicians are lucky, maybe luckier than more than like I'd say most like, you know, book writers, for instance, because
Oh,
you can like, maybe you're not going to make any music online or make any money on the music itself. Like you'll make like 3 cents for like every million listens you get of a Spotify song,
wait, that's what
but
they
you
give
know,
you?
but you can like build a brand around that. And like I do, I have, I'm not good at like making visual art, but I have like ideas in my head, and I have a lot of friends who are great at that stuff. Like my boyfriend Toby kind of like makes outfits and like banners and like, you know, like posters and stuff for the band sometimes. And I'd like to like kind of branch out more into like multimedia
Yeah,
of
I
the band
think you
Hot
have a
Topic.
brand. I'm looking at
Yeah.
your stuff. I think it's a brand. What I do for a living is help businesses. That's my real, like, in many forms, like it as consulting, coaching, and speak, all of that stuff. But I help them build brands, and you have it. You have all the elements there. I'm looking at your website. I like the way you talk about your business. You're actually talking about it. You're better at the business end than you even think, because you see how you brought your poetry in. And I, as soon as you said it, I went in to look on your website at the poetry that you have on you, because you have some poetry up there too.
Oh, so
So
you have to be on the old website, because like two websites, I guess, and the old one is like has like all my like personal stuff too, like in addition to the music, has the poetry and like blogs and stuff, and the new one is more kind of like streamlined. I've been experimenting with different stuff. I need to get
that's
more of that.
it. That's what you do.
Yeah,
That's how you do it. That's how
yeah.
you make it.
But like
That's
I
how
want, like,
you
you know, in the, like, I mean, right now I'm kind of working like slowly on building up like new merch ideas and stuff, which I have on
good job.
hotapollo.com. But in the future I want, like, you know, Hot Apollo cartoons and comic books, and like my boyfriend's like, I want to make you like Hot Apollo action figures, and like
What?
I want to do it all.
Your boyfriend is like really supportive.
But
Is
yeah,
that like a
Toby, he's the
big?
greatest. He's like, okay, I'm like, I've got like, you know, I'm like supremely confident in like my like musical and poetic ability, and like, you know, but he is like he is like an actual Renaissance man. He's like he does music, Like he just painted some stuff
So,
for his first art show last week. He does like sewing and like clothing making and stuff. Like he does like and he's like got a science. He knows science and math. He's an actual genius. He's the greatest. And he
so wait,
collaborates
so
with band
he,
times. He played like bongos with us last month. It was on stage. It was so cool.
so
Yeah,
you get him up on stage with
yeah.
you sometimes.
He put the bongos on my butt while I was like crawling towards the audience and like playing like, the bongos off my butt. It's like we had a great time. Yeah.
So he does art as well in a different form mostly, right?
He does music too. Like he has his own like he hasn't like had much time for it recently, but he is like trying to build up his own kind of
Oh,
musical
that
career
must
outside
be
of that too.
fun. You
Yeah.
guys must have such a cool household. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you guys live together, but a cool household of artists. Like, I don't know. That to me is sounds amazing. So let me ask you this. Can we talk about your music? Oh,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
wait, you said another website. Say that website again. I found the.
So the current one is hotapollo.com. That's the one that has like the like merch and stuff on it and like the like links to some stuff. I need to get a better website designer because that was just like I using a Shopify template and
Got
I'm like yeah, it's kind of been on the back burner while we're working on the third album, but eventually I'll hope to get all that sorted out.
dude, I
It's not
cannot
bad. It's
see
just like I
it.
don't think it's like
Wait, why
amazing as
can't
a
I? Oh, there
website.
you go. I think I found
But it
it.
has it's functional.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I'm there. I'm there. So do you have your music up here? Oh, I see the merge.
Yeah, I think there's one music video at the top, and then like I think there's a section of like music links to like stuff on our Spotify and like Apple and Bandcamp and all that.
So the O in hot. What is that? What does that? I'm just curious.
That actually started out when I was like I think like just out of high school. I was like walking along. I think I was like walking down the sort of like walking down to the sort of like candy or something, and it's got this vision of my mind of what should be like my personal like logo, my personal like symbol, my sigil, and
What?
yeah, it's this on my chest, and it's kind of like drew it out, and like for the next few years, I draw it on like my clothes, and like one time I even like carved it into my like chest for a show, and then like I wanted to wait for like a kind of an omen to get like a tattoo of it, and then that hit one day. I'm like, okay, it's a tattoo, and it kind of extended into being the band's logo. And so whenever people
Dang.
like I'm at a party and people see this on my chest, they're like, "Hey, cool tattoo." I'm like, "Yeah, it's my band." And then I tell them about my band.
So you've been thinking about this for that long? This is
That
something
was
that's.
yeah, I think that was like right after I started the band. Actually, it was good timing.
So you knew you always wanted to be some type of artist. Like, when did you know this? Like, when did you know?
I've since I was since I could walk and talk, I've loved performing. Like when I was like probably like 4 or 5, like my parents started sending me to like a musical theater camp, and that was a great
Good
time.
job, parents.
And like for a while, I was like okay, like it was kind of between like acting and music, like which am I going to? And I still like I do still do a bit of acting sometimes when opportunities come up, but I kind of realized I was talking earlier about how like I'm willing to do all the like not fun stuff to like push
Get
music
there. Yep.
and I'm willing to like dedicate my life to it and like grind as hard as I need to for that. And I've had some like actor friends who did the same for acting, and I just kind of realized I don't have the like as much love for acting as they do because I'm not willing to like dedicate like every like second of thinking to acting in the way I do for music. So it's like okay, I've got to if I'm gonna like dedicate myself to one of these, I don't want to like half-ass both.
Good
And
job.
so it's yeah, music. It's like every second of the day I'm thinking about like
That's really good. I love the way you analyze that. You analyze your options and the things you are doing, and you realize what you will do, the things that suck for, right? And it was music. So look at you, man. Your parents did a good job.
yeah.
I don't know if they
I mean,
still. I
my
don't know
dad
about
would
the whole
agree.
picture,
My mom would be
but
like, "Well, did I do a good job if I raised an artist?" But yeah, no, like honestly, she's like so supportive, even if she doesn't like always
I
say
mean,
anything. Well, what if you like have like a stable job? I'm like, Mom, are there stable jobs
of
anymore?
course she's gonna do that
It's
though.
all
That's
robots
the
and like computers doing all the jobs. It's so
that's the parent thing to do. But honestly, they gave you some good basics. Like, like that, you're chasing your dream, which I'm going to tell you something. That's a scary endeavor within itself, right? To chase your dream. And you're like doing it and you're not phased by any fears of how it could go wrong. You're just hopeful for the future and you have your vision. So, what would you tell someone like you, like us, that wants a dream that seems too big, but you want to let them know they can do it?
I
What
mean,
gets
I
you?
guess I would probably like say what my parents and my mom like more forcefully than anyone, especially like from moment one when I was like some of my earliest memories are her telling me, that she, believed in me and that like I could choose to do whatever I wanted. And I guess I was like really fortunate to have people around me who would kind of like make sure that I always knew that, because I think a lot of people don't. I mean, talking about my boyfriend earlier, and he didn't always have people around him like that to tell him that, and he
No.
somehow like figured it out for himself, which I'm very thankful for. But I guess yeah, if you don't have anyone around to tell you that you can do it, you can.
Wait, do you want to bring him into the interview? You keep looking over there.
What are we
If you
doing?
want to, go ahead. It's your. This is your.
I was just about to get groceries. What's up?
Wait, I can't see. Wait. This screen splits it up like to the left. Well, that's my left. That'll be your right. There you go. What's up?
Hello. I was about to go get groceries. What's up?
What are you gonna go get?
Pork.
I love the way he answered it. Porg. I just wanted to say hi because he's talking really good stuff about you and the support you're lending. Listen, I just want you to know it's powerful to support someone. And it makes all of the difference. So that's it. He was talking very great about you and the support you lend them. And I just wanted to thank you for that.
Well, we try to support each other. He
Yes.
supports me a lot. Definitely would not be where I am without this dude. It's fucking.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
I'm over
I
here.
love it.
Okay,
Good. Take
good
care.
luck with pork.
You do that all the time, don't you? You just pull them in. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about your songs.
It's
Give me
also
some
our
songs.
8 months today. Just before I forget, it's our 8 month anniversary today.
Happy
Yeah, February
anniversary!
22nd. Yeah.
That's
My
a long
songs.
time.
Okay, with no like other direction. Like I think if like people are like, okay, what's the first Hot Apollo song I should listen to? I always kind of default to Baby Lord, because like we do have like a kind of variety of different vibes. Like we have like a kind of core like identity, but they're like a kind of bunch of different moods we can go to within that. And Baby Lord, I feel, has like a bunch of them all in like one song. It kind of like has different movements within it. And I
Got it.
think if you just like want to get like the like quickest idea of what we're about, listen to Baby Lord. But if you want to get the best idea of what we're about by like watching something, I would say our best music video so far is Fistigons. And I'll give you one spoiler: it has a dinosaur in it. So if you want to see a
Wait,
really cool music video with the dinosaur that like tells you how our vibe is like as people, watch Fistigons.
Baby Lord, I'm looking for that. Okay, got it. Look at you. You have a lot of. How many songs you got?
Oh, recorded at this point probably about like 3 dozen, and we're in the midst of recording our third like album, so that's going to be about like 40, I guess, at that point.
Look at
uh
you.
and then like but like written and like in various like stages of progress, like probably over 100. And it's just like it's like it's a time and money. It's like, okay, we can only play like 10 songs a show or whatever, and like we can only like record like so many songs a year because of like money. We want to like put in the money, like get good sound, right? So it's like it's just like working through the backlog and constantly writing new stuff. And we have more songs than we know what to do with. But it's a good problem to have. It's better than like
Yeah, it's yeah,
write
it's
new
a
stuff.
very good
Like
problem.
write too much stuff.
And you also you do shows, right? Like you go perform in places. I see.
Yeah.
What kind of places do you perform? Like what's the next one that you can?
The next one is actually a place I haven't heard of before. It's in Toronto. It's called Brunswick Beer Works. I think maybe it's fairly new, and we just got invited by like another band who's putting on the show to like play with them, and we're excited about that. And then after that, we're playing in April at the Bovine Sex Club, which is like probably one of the most like legendary still existing like like rock and roll like clubs in the city. And like a lot closed down over COVID. A lot of places that have been around for like decades closed down over COVID. But like
Yeah.
new like venues are like rising up to like build the scene back up. And like the old like stalwarts like Bovine and like Lee's Palace are like still like carrying their torch. So it's hard, but like there is still like a pretty healthy like live music scene in Toronto, and we're doing our best like um you know like light that flame even higher.
Nice. So wait, you Toronto? So you're in Canada?
Yeah.
What? You're my second Canadian. I
Yeah.
love it. All right, that's man. I give you a lot of props for the fact that you have autism and you're still out chasing your dream, you do know how huge that is, right? In the space of mental health.
Yeah, and I do want to like I mean so many more people are coming out now. I remember like when I was like 10 years old and like dealing with stuff. I also had it's not so much a consideration now, but like when I was like 10, well maybe like 12, the thing most people noticed about me was my OCD, and that like they didn't have time to notice the autism because the OCD was like more like
Got
I
it.
like
More.
more like visual. There's like, oh, we can see you like washing your hands a lot, you know, kind of thing.
Got it. Like you
So that
could
like
tell immediately.
yeah.
There's.
But yeah, regardless, it was like I was like the first like kind of in my school at least, I was one of the only kids who had like a diagnosis that everyone knew. Like everyone in the school knew, oh, that's a kid with OCD.
No way.
And now like everyone's like open with their stuff. Like everyone's like I go to parties and like
It's a
people
normal
like,
conversation.
hey,
Yeah.
what stuff do you have going on? It's like, oh, I have ADHD, borderline, whatever. You know, and everyone's like free to talk about it. And, like, you know, even like actors and musicians are like, hey, this is what I have, this is where I'm coming from, and it's kind of giving everyone like more confidence to like be open with that stuff. And if I can like add to that, I'm honored to have that opportunity to make that known.
Good. That's awesome. Do you think it helped you in what you do? Like, can you see some of the strengths that you got?
I
I'm seeing some of it in myself, but what do you see any?
I can. I actually do believe that like autism is one of my superpowers for a variety of reasons.
Yes.
But like on the artistic thing, it kind of means like I guess I'm not like the way my brain works. I kind of maybe don't always see the world as it is as like naturally as a lot of people do. I kind of see like what I want it to be. Um, and it kind
Yes.
of makes it way easier like to kind of focus on my dreams and believe in my dreams, even when like logic and like rational like strategic thinking would tell me no, this is like music
Yeah.
is like not like a reliable way to make a living. What about all these other things? Like yeah, but music is a thing I have to do. Like I like hyperfixate on music, and
Yeah,
it's like
you're
okay,
fixing
push it
hyper.
forward. Like I don't. People always say, "Hey, James, you know what? Like you know, like never stop rocking." And I was like, I don't have that option. I cannot stop. You know,
Yeah.
like sharks can't stop swimming. I cannot stop rocking.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You know, I think the worst thing is to like stop chasing your dreams. You know, I think that's well, that's just my opinion. That's when life ends. When you're
And
not
to be
chasing
fair, like
nothing
it doesn't have to be like all or nothing. Like
at all.
I'm very fortunate to be in a position where I've had the support to like focus like almost exclusively on my music. But some people don't have that luxury. You know,
Of
some people like
course.
need to like you know like earn their bread like day in day out and like live paycheck to paycheck. Like what's cool is that like for most of history, I mean most of history, like there weren't like artistic celebrities.
Hmm.
Art was something you know you'd make like a few pennies on, and for most of human history, people have just been making art in the corners of their lives, and that's always you know like even if you're not like if you don't have designs on being like the biggest you know thing in the world, you can still make your art and put it out there. Even if just like you know posting your paintings on Instagram, you're still putting it out there, and people are still seeing it and reacting to it and engaging with it, and that's easier now than ever, and I think that's really beautiful.
Yeah, and most of the artists that are historically that we all know, right? They did it. They didn't get any. They didn't get money. You know what I mean? It didn't hit until they were gone.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, it fulfills something in you when you're. That's a dream. But I like that message that you just said. It doesn't have to be all or nothing.
yeah. No,
You're
I mean,
right.
I've always had. I remember like being 17, and like that was around the time like I started like really commit to this. And I was like, you know what? I want to be like the biggest, like you know, most famous like rock star of like the decade of the like century, whatever. But even if I never make a penny off it, like I will be able to be satisfied going to my grave knowing I've like gone out there and made the art I wanted to make. You know, like
I love it.
even if it's not like financially fulfilling always, it's always spiritually fulfilling, and I could not live without it.
I love it. Good for you. I love your message like a lot. You know, it's I love your story. I love what you're doing. I like that you're chasing your dream. I'm proud of you for doing so. I'm proud of you for being yourself. That's the most important because that's sometimes the hardest thing for us to do, right? I learned that as well. And I'm very happy that you have support. I'm very happy that you're going for it. And I cannot wait to keep hearing your music. When is the next music coming out?
We are still figuring that out. We're in like the end stages of recording the like the tracks, and then we're kind of working with this new team of kind of I guess like business advisors who are going to help us like with the release strategy. So I
Nice.
would estimate probably midsummer to early fall, but like I have no idea right now. it all depends on like on how we kind of like stuff. I kind of want to give it a little bit of time. I would say hopefully the first single, which we shot the music video for like last summer, should be out like within the next like 3 months, hopefully. And it's called Seance, and it's our first goth disco song.
I want to hear it.
It has a drag queen ghost, so I'm very excited. I've seen the music video without the like finished audio, and it looks so good. My boyfriend shot it. It's very like DIY, but also like really cool and spooky and like kind of funny too. And it's it's gonna be one of my faves for sure.
One more question, and this one I just got. So, do you see yourself as an entrepreneur? In some ways,
That's like one of those labels for me that like I would not claim for myself, but like if people want to apply it to me, I'll understand. I guess like technically, I am kind of like in a job that is kind of just like all like from me and the people I'm doing it with. It's not like I don't have like like a higher up like manager or anything. So I guess technically it is.
yeah, I just saw it now. Like as you were because you talked a lot about the business of it here, and it came natural to you the way you talk. Like when you were saying that you guys shot this video last summer and it's just coming out. I start thinking just like a business, it takes work to get it there. The idea starts and you gotta like mechanically get it there. I'm like, that's a business. I'm like, wait, do you see yourself as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, no, I'm that annoying guy in business everyone wants to be, but like no one needs more of, which is like I have all the ideas and I need people to like work the numbers and logistics and like, okay, how are we gonna do this and like release strategy and everything. And I was but what about this? And like so I have the ideas. And I guess I just need to find the right
the vision. That's where it all starts.
Yeah.
It all starts there. So is there anything else you want to leave here before we go?
I guess just to reiterate what I said, like no matter how hard it might seem, I think like personally like life's always easier and definitely better if you just like embrace yourself and be the best version of that.
I love it. Great words. People, please go support him. Even if rock and roll's not your music, just go support him. Go on his channels. It's always helpful for an artist to see that. Thank you for joining me today. I had a lot of fun.
So much fun.
Have a great night, right?
Thank you.
Shout out there.
Yeah. Bye for now.
Repeat after me. I am powerful.